Hello, I'm Toe Jim,
Hi, I'm Earl.
and we wanted to take a moment to tell you a little bit about ourselves and kind of talk you through our Arc Primal Fear playthrough and what mods we're using, what settings we're using, and all that stuff. So together we have more than 3,000 hours of Arc playtime on Steam before we started recording. And before then, we were playing the Windows Store version with Xbox Game Pass. I think that's what it was called.
Yeah, I think I probably have over 1,000 hours there too, but I don't honestly have any way of knowing. But yeah, I played a lot on that one too.
Yep. So we haven't played on Genesis or Crystal Isles yet,
Not good.
and nope, not yet. And we've not completed Extinction yet. We got close, but then we started playing Atlas for a while and got distracted and just kind of never went back to it.
Yeah, pretty ocean.
This is also the first time we're playing Primal Fear.
Yes, been wanting to for a long time though. We really kind of been looking forward to doing that. We were wanting to go ahead and finish off Extinction before we did so, but Atlas kind of took our attention away, and then we were like, you know what? Let's just Primal Fear because I can't wait anymore.
So when we started, we knew we wanted to. When we started this playthrough, we knew we wanted to try out Primal Fear, obviously, and because we saw everybody else doing it on Olympus, and we were wondering what it would be like to try to do a story mode with Primal Fear.
Yeah,
It kind of doesn't really lend itself to a story mode, so we kind of had to, invent some rules to keep the game progression and just kind of give it a structured flow.
yeah, from map to map, Because I mean, we could totally do all of Primal Fear right here on the island, but we wanted to see what it was like, on Scorched Earth and Aberration and Extinction, and we do want we do want to play Genesis, and so our first experience with Genesis is going to be with Primal Fear, hopefully.
Yeah, that's probably going to get pretty hard, especially with just the two of us.
Yeah.
So we're not even 100% sure if we can complete this playthrough with Primal Fear, but we're going to try the best we can.
Yep. Give it everything we got.
Right. So like I said, we set ourselves some rules to keep a structured game flow, and we wanted to make sure things were still challenging. It didn't just get easy after we do everything on the island. We wanted to make sure that we could keep a challenge going through the whole playthrough.
Right. So let's talk about these rules.
Well, first, we're going to set an upload limit on our dinos. We're only going to allow ourselves to have 6 dinos uploaded into the obelisk at a time.
Each. You get 6 and I get 6.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And we're not going to download any of those uploaded creatures until we beat the vanilla bosses on the map.
Uh-huh.
Assuming that the vanilla bosses are unchanged, because we actually don't even know if Primal Fear changes them.
Yeah, right. Can't wait to see.
We will allow ourselves to use any tames for the vanilla bosses, and I'm kind of hoping that we can, maybe just each take one of the best dodos in and just destroy the broodmother.
That would be so much fun.
And then once we beat the vanilla bosses, we're going to move on to the Primal Fear bosses, and this is kind of where it gets a little bit complicated.
Yeah, just a little, but it's not that bad. It's really not that bad.
So here on the island, we'll deal with the tier 0 and tier 1 bosses, which tier 0 would be the Captain Black Boulder and the primal creatures. We'll deal with those kind of as we come to them, possibly run away from them. We've already run away from them a little bit.
Right.
And we did already take care of a Primal Raptor.
Yeah, but we did also lose our entire first base to one of them, so, you know.
Then we're also on the island. We're going to do all of the origin summons.
Uh-huh.
All bunch of them. There's a ton of them.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to do the tier 3 bosses, the Celestial Indominus Emperor and the Demonic Reaper Empress.
Uh-huh.
Once we do those, then we will move on to Scorched Earth.
Can't wait for Scorched Earth.
On Scorched Earth, it is a good map.
Uh-huh.
It has wyverns, and I'm sure the wyverns will be extra scary.
Uh-huh. Oh, extra scary.
So on Scorched Earth, we have the Chaos Guardian and the Spirit Guardian as our Primal Fear boss that we're going to do there.
Mm-hmm.
Once we do that, we'll move on to Aberration, and it's horrible, not able to see anythingness.
Oh, but man, that map is it's still beautiful. Even though it's dark, it is beautiful. And it's got some of the most awesome creatures on it. I love it.
Also the easiest map to get lost on.
Oh, yeah. And me, your directionally challenged wife, Earl. Right.
Yeah, I know. You'll just, once we get there, you'll have to stick close and just don't stray.
Oh, well, we'll see how that goes.
So on Aberration, we will be doing the tier 5 Primal Fear bosses, which are Picon the Creator and Nova the Destroyer.
Uh-huh.
Then we'll move on to Extinction.
I love Extinction. Extinction is so much fun with the loot drops and with the element veins and the gotchas. I love gotchas.
Oh, we'll have probably 100 gotchas, won't we?
Oh, yeah.
Way more than we need.
Oh, yeah.
So there we will do the tier 6 bosses there, the Colossi. There's 4 of them: Acoustic, Fire, Electric, and Ice. One for each elemental. And it's kind of very fitting because Extinction has the Titans.
And all the biomes, it's got the desert biome and the ice biome. Yeah. I like it.
Once we eventually do that, then we'll move on to Genesis. For the first time, we'll be seeing Genesis.
Uh-huh.
And hopefully we'll be taking down Picon's Revenge.
That sounds like a great way to wrap up a story mode.
Yeah, probably 5 years later.
Probably it's going to take forever. Don't necessarily intend to, show all the boring bits, we do record everything, but then, yeah, we kind of cut out some of the boring stuff, and we don't want to put you guys to sleep, But it's gonna take us a while to get there.
Yeah, yes, it is. Yeah, lots of grinding. I'm sure. I'm not looking forward to all the hours and hours of grinding.
I like the grindy. The grindy is my thing, but I'm weird.
So also, we're going to kind of limit the item uploads between maps, mostly sticking to blueprints, weapons, armor. We will be transferring element with one of the mods, but we're not going to be transferring kibble or eggs or large quantities of resources.
Right. We don't want to make getting that first foothold in that new map too easy. Because we're not trying to cheat our way through it or anything. We want it to be a challenge. We wouldn't be playing Primal Fear if we weren't looking for a challenge.
And it wouldn't be fun without a challenge.
It wouldn't.
So we did change some settings. I'm not going to do any detailed how to change settings here or every single setting that I changed, because frankly, I don't remember every single setting I've ever changed. So I'm going to go through the highlights. So in the game.ini, we sped up mating speed, hatching speed, and all that so that we can get things bred much quicker. We I have a day job and
I do all the editing.
it's raining now.
Of course.
Yep. So we don't want to spend hours and hours and hours breeding and raising babies. It's too much.
Right.
We can do it the long way, but I don't have time for that.
Right. That would make every map take like 5 times as long.
Oh, easily. Yeah. This playthrough of Ark is not a life endeavor. It's just going to be, hopefully a year at most.
Right. Hopefully.
Hopefully quicker than that. But with all these, with all of this that we've got going on, it's going to take forever.
Oh boy, it's starting to get really dark.
Yeah, it is. So I've also tripled the supply crate and fishing loot quality because if you don't, it's worthless. Why bother?
Absolutely.
It's so weak and pathetic. You might as well just not do any of that. If you don't increase it.
Right, but we kind of need saddles,
And better weapons.
Right.
We've also unnerfed the Wyverns and Giga because it's just plain stupid for them to get magically weaker. I mean, there's no magic in this game, so why do they magically get weaker?
Yeah,
It's dumb.
It's just very, very wrong to have to fight so hard to get the thing knocked out. And then you don't get the thing that you just knocked out. It's just not right. My humble opinion.
Yeah. and it makes no sense because we're not doing anything to that Giga to make it weaker. Why is it weaker now?
Right.
It is what it is.
Right.
In the game user settings.any, we set the difficulty so we get up to level 150 wild creatures. We've doubled the stack size because why not?
Yeah.
We've increased the taming speed again because we don't have that much time.
Right.
We also increased the amount of resources we get from resource nodes like trees and rocks. Kind of 2 reasons. Number 1, because primal fear. Number 2, to reduce that resource grinding a little bit.
Yeah, because I like grinding, but I don't like it that much.
Yeah, and it just puts me to sleep. We are allowing ourselves, obviously, to adjust gamma, because otherwise nobody would be able to see anything at night. I mean, we could do it without and use torches and all of that, but that wouldn't be as interesting to watch.
Right.
What was I? Oh, we set the resource respawn period to 0 to prevent that bug. I guess it's still a bug. It probably is because it's an old one. That bug where if you leave the area or shut down the server or something before that resource node respawns, then it will just never ever respawn again.
Yeah.
The only reason we did it, it probably allows us to get resources quicker and easier, but the real reason was bug mitigation.
Right.
So we are using several mods, many of which are fantastic mods. Well, all of them actually are fantastic mods. I wouldn't use a mod that wasn't good, right?
Right. These are all mods that we've used, prior for many of those thousands of hours we've played.
Well, pretty much all of them except Primal Fear and
Right.
Death Recovery mod.
Right.
So,
Those are our 2 newest mods to us. Yeah.
yep. And Death Recovery mod we're using because Primal Fear.
Exactly. We never used it before, but because Primal Fear, absolutely.
The rest of the list, we got Superstructures. It's a fork of Structures Plus back when Structures Plus was abandoned. it wasn't getting any updates, and Superstructures forked it and made some improvements. Now Structures Plus is updating again, but who knows for how long.
Right, but I still love them both. It's
They
just
are both fantastic.
I got very used to superstructures during that time when Structures Plus was, on hiatus, and when Structures Plus came back, they made some really big and really awesome changes. But there's a learning curve to those changes, and I just kind of wasn't really stoked about taking on that learning curve. So, Superstructures is fantastic, and I still love it. So I don't like to play without it. I would not want to play without it.
We're also using Element Transmitter because we're music is happening.
It is happening. It's getting dark.
Yeah, it is getting dark. We're using Element Transmitter because we're gonna get Element on the earlier maps and probably not really use much of it until later. So why not take it with us, right?
Absolutely.
We're also using Dino healing items, which mostly is to save time when we're leveling dinos up in preparation for a boss fight. Although I guess that will still be a thing with the Primal Fear bosses, at least.
Right. Although it seems as though Primal Fear does have some healing items itself, so we may never actually truly use the dino healing items. I'm not sure. It just kind of depends on how the game goes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the Primal Fear stuff is probably better, but I'll leave my. I plan on leaving Dino healing items in anyway because it's already in. It's already been in. So why not?
Right.
And it just saves us more time. I mean, we could sit there and force feed meat for hours and hours,
Yep.
or we can just use some healing items.
Absolutely.
We also like to use RP visual storage because it's a very good looking, very easy to use dedicated storage system.
And
Mostly it looks awesome.
it does look awesome, and it's so much fun to play with. It makes things so much easier to keep all of your stuff organized. You always know where everything is, especially when you pair that with superstructures and its capability of transferring items through transfer tools. It makes it so much easier. Saves so much time.
All right, we also use the builder's helmet.
Uh-huh.
Now on the builder's helmet, I did set the max weight equals 0 to use the character's weight instead of adding to your max weight. So we use the builder's helmet so that you can just build instead of having to build, select, build, select, build, select.
Right. It also has a pickup in it. Superstructures has its demo gun, which is fantastic. I love it. But the builder's helmet also has a way to pick up pretty much anything. I think actually anything.
Yeah, actually anything.
Just if I don't feel like pulling out my demo gun,
Well, it's just really easy to walk up to something and hit O and it go back into your inventory.
Absolutely.
We also use Super Spyglass. Again, that's one that's mostly to save us time because I don't feel like taming 100 dinos just to eventually find that good one.
All right.
I know the regular Spyglass will show you the level, but even then, if it doesn't have anywhere near a good level distribution, then it's a waste of time.
Absolutely.
We also use Castlekeep's Forts Remastered because it's just another fantastic looking mod.
Oh yeah, I love that mod. I love the way it looks. We've used that one for a long time, and I've in some of my non-recorded sessions, I've built some really awesome things with that, and I'm going to keep those secret because I would like to. I can't make any promises that it'll happen, but I would like to recreate some of those along our journey here. Maybe not necessarily on the island, but just along the journey with Primal Fear. That will make it a challenge, a bigger challenge. But yeah, you can just make some really good looking buildings with your castles, keeps, and forts. It's amazing.
It also has larger wall sizes so that you can keep your piece count lower, so that you don't end up building something so big and epic that you then cannot load the save file
Yeah,
and
we've
it
done
just
that
ruined the
before.
game.
I've done that before.
Yeah, it's really annoying to put so much effort into building a huge structure only to, after a server reboot, not be able to play it.
Right.
You have to roll back to before you built it, and it's really disheartening.
It is heartbreaking.
We also use best eggs to make the whole breeding process faster. We can do the breeding by looking at the stats and all of that, but it just, I really don't have time for that. Best eggs is just a shortcut to get to the end result after, one or maybe two or three generations, instead of breeding about, 20, 30 or more generations. I don't want to spend months just breeding perfect dinos.
Right. Absolutely.
We also use Dino Tracker. So we have turned off the disable wild tracking. Well, we turned off the wild tracking, and the wild coordinates. I guess if we turned off the wild tracking, the coordinates don't really matter. But so that allows us to find each other, or find any lost dinos. Occasionally, something gets stuck, and you realize it hours later, and it's one of your favorite ones, and you you're you're not going to find it without Dino Tracker.
Yeah, but it's mostly because, I am very directionally challenged and I use it all the time to find toe jam. That's my main. I use it to find toe jam because I never know where he is.
Well, we've already talked about Primal Fear and Death Recovery mod. Uh, Last one on the list is Better Horde mode. Now, that only comes into play on Extinction, but basically it fixes the problems with the orbital supply drops and element veins. The Horde dinos would get lost or distracted. Pteranodons would just fly after gas bags, and you'd never find them. You go away from the element node to try to find them, and you end up going too far, and the element node destroys itself. So better horde mode is a mitigation for that, so that you can still do the OSDs and the element veins, and if something gets distracted by gas bags and flies across the map, it'll eventually die on its own if it hasn't attacked the element vein in a certain amount of time. Just keep the game from breaking those awesome events.
Right. And it also shows us where they are so that we can find them and, take care of them the way they were meant to be taken care of. It's just those things are, again, they're more geared for much bigger tribes than, solo or just like two or just a couple people, because, then you have more people with that can scatter about without losing, your drop or your node, because you've gone too far away looking for that one last creature, that you just can't find. And, but that helps to stop that. Before we installed that mod and we were playing, it would take us sometimes, I'm pretty sure that there were times where we had over an hour in one single wave just
Oh yeah,
trying to find that one last thing that just we couldn't find, and
yeah.
where one of us has to stay by the thing, and then by the element node, or by the, by whatever we were defending, and then the other one go out and try to look to find it, killing everything in the way and just not finding it,
Yeah, yeah, killing every corrupted just because you don't know which one it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, there have been plenty of times we had more than an hour on one wave, and the whole thing should, an hour seems reasonable for the whole event,
Yeah.
not just one wave. Because if you have 5 waves, that's 5 hours,
Right.
4.5 hours of which you're spending doing nothing but looking around and waiting and hoping that the game will realize that something is broken, or maybe hoping that that pteranodon that went after a gas bag somehow encounters a giga and gets into a fight with it and dies.
Right.
Only if it's within your render distance on top of that.
Right.
So that's it for all of the mods. I think that's it for pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't want to miss an episode, make sure you subscribe.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a fun ride. And I'm hoping that we can accomplish all of the goals that we set out. But I promise you, there's going to be lots of fun, lots of mayhem.
Well, there's going to be lots of blood.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of sweat.
Oh, yeah.
And probably more tears than anyone would really want to admit.
Right. Yeah, probably.
So if you like our game plan here, the rules that we've set out for ourselves, if you like the idea of a Primal Fear story mode, make sure you like and comment and let us know.
Yeah. Yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts on it, and just let us know. We don't know if you don't like, or leave us a comment, or both. All right. So we'll see you guys in our next episode. That's going to be coming up here real soon. And thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we hope we answered all your questions about why we didn't do things earlier, do this earlier, and all that. We hope we answered your questions. Have a good one.
Unless we upload this one first, then
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
Oh, that's it.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Was that good?
I guess, yeah, maybe.